Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Listen, I am so behind on my streams today. I mentioned this last week, but I have a friend who's been visiting me here in Paris for 2 weeks. And so today we went to the Dior Museum, and I was like rushing back to get here in time for the Vanderpump Rules stream that I just filmed. So bear with me. I'm so sorry about that. But listen, let's get into what went down on these last 2 episodes of Family Reunion. I have to reiterate, I just watched this for you guys because it is so unpleasurable. It's boring. These girls have no personality. There's nothing exciting about them. They're not charming. They're not even that funny, okay? And they're not even fashionable. So, it's hard to watch these girls. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. It is the truth. They're just hard to watch at this point, but I digress. Nonetheless, I am looking forward. So in this live stream, we're going to be talking about both the episodes. So a lot of dramatic things happen in the episode. As you can see in the description, we're going to talk about Gary pulling Leah out of school to drag her there to kind of prop up Amber, which I could not stand. Then we've got Jade confronting Caitlyn about her mom, which was none of Jade's business. I didn't understand what she was thinking with that. And then Coach B says that Zach is more like a son to Cheyenne. And I want to talk to you guys about that because I felt like it was very interesting, right? That was definitely not something that I was expecting. So there is a lot to talk about between the 2 episodes at the very least. Hi, Kiki. I'm here for them all. Can't wait to join. Love it. So says, I've been waiting for this. I love it. I hope I deliver. But what Jade's saying makes a little sense, right? Preacher, wrong, right? Here's the thing. Speaking of right preacher, wrong messenger, right message, wrong messenger, okay? Speaking of that, Jade, the audacity that you have to talk about how Kate's mom was kind of dragging her through the mud quite literally or whatever instead of doing it gently. When you scream at your little innocent child all the time, her and Sean treat that poor little girl like they freaking hate her, okay? So the audacity to treat your child like that and then come at April for the way that she treats grown-ass Caitlyn. At least Caitlyn is a grown woman who can regulate her own emotions surrounding this and understand where it's all coming from and the context and this and that. You scream at your damn child, who's 3 years old? You and your husband, you do that, or your fiance, on and off again fiance. How many times have you guys been engaged? You do that all the time, so get out of here. I really didn't appreciate it, to be honest, right? Hi, Shauna. Hey, Matt. Nice to see you. I'm happy you're on here as well, Alexis. Even if it's Friday long weekend. Oh, long weekend. That's nice. What's the holiday this year? Is it Victoria Day or something like that? Too much to do. I got it. Oh, guys, I'm so happy that you've all made time for this live. So let's just jump on right into it. And it is true, wild child photography. There is so much drama this month with Orion stuff, with everything. It's just crazy. By the way, Brittany DeJesus did get engaged. I felt like that happened a while ago, and they're just coming out with it now. I have an old video about it. That's why I didn't go back and make another video about it. Oh, happy President's Day to my American followers. I wonder what President's Day, you know what it is in Canada? Is this Family Day weekend? Because the Monday you guys would get off in Canada, right? I'm so bad at keeping up with the holidays over there since I left. Now, you guys, so the COVID house. Remember, Tyler Baltiera, when he first got into the house, he would complain about these girls never cleaning. He would constantly be the one cleaning it. So now these girls finally decided, listen, this place is all stuffy and dirty. Everyone's getting sick. Why don't we start cleaning a little bit? So that's something that happened. And then we find out that my girl, Big Gulp, got COVID. And I'm like, who gave Crossbody Christy COVID? She finally got an episode, the previous episode, number 6, where she was a star. She threw that engagement party, the wig engagement party for her daughter, Jade. And now someone decided to sabotage her by giving her COVID, so we don't get to see any more of her. And I was really disappointed in that. Now, on Kaya's side, it's almost her father's birthday. And so, of course, she starts getting really can I say melancholic about this? She starts getting depressed and whatnot about it because it brings up the bad memories, right? She feels a lot of guilt over his passing because she feels as though she should have been there with him when he wanted to see her, to go to a ball game with her, but she just was not in the mood. She was a child, but she blames herself. Listen, like I said in the last couple of episodes, this area there, and it sounds insensitive, but it's the truth. If someone is abusing drugs, the likelihood of them overdosing is very high anyway. So I don't like the way that she like guilt herself. She acts like she was a bat. You were a child. Sometimes you just don't want to do things. Sometimes you just don't want to go places. It doesn't mean that like he went and used because of you. He went and used because he was a drug user, right? Like, and so we're gonna get into it a little bit later, how Coach B tries to help her like alleviate the guilt she feels. It just makes me really sad that she, as a child, dealt with that. President's Day is Monday. Okay, well, happy early President's Day to you guys then. Big Gulp will never fail to make me laugh. I'm really depressed that we didn't even get to see her with her little Big Gulp cups this in this show. Like, that's one of my favorite things about her. Like, she's always just like so dramatic with these giant, honestly, her cup is bigger than my microphone, you guys. I'm still endlessly amazed by how big drinks are over there for y'all. So now, speaking of my girl Big Gulp, Cheyenne decides that she wants to make get well soon cards for everybody who's got the COVID, but she skips over our girl Big Gulp. She's like, I think she like didn't do it on purpose. She must have just forgotten or something like that. But Chrissy did talk about being like, well, everyone got one but me. Where the hell's my card? Like, you guys see how funny she is, honestly. I love her. I do feel like it might have been a hate crime, though, against her. Cheyenne, I'm watching you. Now, Kaya decides that she wants to throw a party. After talking to Coach B, Coach B tries to like tell her, you were a child. You don't need to feel guilty for this man's passing or anything like that. Like, it happens where sometimes you just don't feel like doing something, so you bow out. That did not lead to him having an OD, an overdose, right? Like, unfortunately, when you're playing around with these things, it can happen. We've seen it happen, right? Gangsta Boo, I think was her name, from the Marriage Boot Camp, and as a rapper and a hip hop artist, she passed away from an OD. Mac Miller passed away from an OD. There was an actor in 2022 last year who passed away from an OD. So many of these people do, because unfortunately that is a risk, especially when they're cutting these drugs with other things that are illicit. They're putting fentanyl in these things, and that is what is getting people, right, these days. Steph says the best part of the entire show was the fight between Brianna. Yes, that's exactly it. Unfortunately, that was the only interesting part of the show. Everything after that has been like a chore to watch. The fact that this is only 7 and 8 episodes, right? We're recapping the 7 and 8. And we're bored to tears. We are literally bored to freaking tears at this point. Wash, rinse, repeat constantly with these people. You know, like they try putting them in new settings, and it's still the same old boring people. We're done. We're tired. Man says percent they will use regardless. 100% they will. Yes, exactly. It was going to happen. It sounds insensitive, but it is the truth. He already had a problem. Shauna and Amanda. Eleni says, I wish they'd bring back 16 and Pregnant for this new generation. These girls are so boring and everything is painfully fake for the camera. I agree. They're so old at this point. Like, they're my age, so I can get away with saying that, right? Like 29, 30-ish. But like, it's too old for this show called Teen Mom. Like, their frontal cortex is developed, so they're not going to be as unstable as they were when they're young. A lot of people claim that it's the money, that this, that, like the poverty that made them interesting. But no, I think it's the fact that they were irrational. They were not like fully formed in the brain yet. So that's why they were making foolish decisions. And you know what? I actually feel like if you gave them all that money and that time, they would have been even more buck wild, right? Because now they got money to go crazy with. Like, you guys remember when you touched your first real paycheck, how crazy you went, you know? Like, that would have been wild too. Speaking of wild, Wild Child Photography says, yes, everything feels so forced for the last few years. Of course, drama is going to happen. They're bored. That's exactly it. Like, it's like watching paint dry. I did my Vanderpump Rules stream a little bit earlier here. And when I'm watching those episodes, I'm so into it. I'm having so much fun. When I do RHOP, it's the same thing. But then when it comes to Teen Mom stuff, I'm like, oh God, this again. Haley says, I think Brianna and her mom are always trying to gang up on Kail, but they really met their match with Ashley and T. And, the crazy thing is that Ashley and T are in drama with Brianna because Ashley is Kail's guard dog. So it still all comes down to this at the end of the day. Speaking of, how crazy is it that Kail is out here talking about, I'm talking to producers to protect Ashley. They're looking for her to be the scapegoat. Oh, stop, please. Her story says, I thought the show was more about the journey of being a teen mom. It was, but now they're what, 30-something years old? Amber, I think, is 33. So she's about to be 40 years old in 7 years, because I do believe they'll keep this thing chucking on a show called Teen Mom. It's wild. So now You guys, the party that Kaya decided to throw to honor her father was also like a surprise party for her mom. Did anyone else feel like it was kind of awkward, like the way that she just did it? Like the people are sitting around in the living room. She comes along with like a party hat on and a cake or two cakes, and she's like, "Let's party, you guys." And they're like, "Huh? Like for what?" She's like, "Oh, like in memory of my dad who died, and also my mom's birthday's coming up." It's like, let's have a little bit of a gentle, like, you know what I mean, like drive up to this or whatever you want to call it. Like it just felt very like, you know, imagine you're sitting there minding your own business, maybe even picking your nose, and someone comes up to you talking about let's have a party, and you're like, for what? Like, I need time to be in a party mood. You know what I mean? I need like someone to hype me up. I need you to tell me the backstory. I need all of this, right? I can't just all of a sudden flip on the switch and party with y'all, right? But the guys did get quite involved early on, which was cute. Zach and Sean, they started blowing up the balloons and the streamers and whatnot. And mind you, Amber Portwood Kung Fu Portwood is finally freed from quarantine. And was it odd to anyone how it seemed like Zach was crying like happy tears at her being kind of free from quarantine? In fact, I want to talk to you guys about Zach's confessional looks. I don't know, something about him was off. He always seemed like he had glassy red eyes. He seemed very like puffy in the face, like he had just been crying. Like, I don't know if like Cheyenne chewed his ass out, cursed his ass out, whatever it is, and like he was like feeling all off for the confessionals. But to me, every time I saw him, I felt a little bit concerned. Hi, little Lucy. Teen Mom keeps giving them these bogus therapists. They needed those therapists the first few seasons. It's true. I feel like they should have been more intensely followed the first few seasons. Now it's kind of like just people waxing poetic here. Some like Instagram motivational stuff. Listen, I have a video about how Coach B's educational history is a little Some of y'all got upset, but I'm keeping the video up. I don't mind. Listen, I don't mind if something I say, like, kind of like it's controversial to people. I just want to say, like, my truth, you know? And my truth is that she goes to a lot of these for-profit colleges that are a little, like the one where she got her doctorate from is one that kind of just churns them out. And they have a reputation for it. And that's why their people are not really taken seriously when they go looking for jobs. But I digress. Stephanie says, what's good, y'all? I think they're just waiting for the kids to become teenagers. Yep, I think that's what it is. Because even they know that this is not the vibe. But then again, MTV has nothing on the station. What do they have besides ridiculousness, Teen Mom, and Catfish? And it's crazy because this used to be the must-watch station. It used to be so ahead of the curve. I want my MTV. And now look, right? Jessica says, off topic, but the intro song for the show is really annoying. You know, it's so funny. I don't even remember hearing it because I usually just skip on through. I have to be honest with you guys. I do skip through a lot of this show. Like, you know, especially the panoramic shots. I'm like, okay, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. I cannot. I'm over it. Hi, Liana. Nice to see you here. Now, oh, speaking of Zach, I was mentioning Zach a little bit earlier, but Zach, he has a little bit of fit when they have to go ATV riding. So they obviously, to ride these ATVs, have to wear a helmet. And Zach is bitching because in the helmet, he can't wear a sleeve. Like, it doesn't come with a sleeve. That's what he expected. He's like, oh, so I'm basically wearing someone else's sweat. No, Zachary, they clean these off in between people. They don't just let people sweat in it and then put it on the next person. They, especially in the COVID era, they are spraying these things down with disinfectant. You're good, okay? And then after that, he's like, oh, well, I don't want to film after I take it off because I didn't bring my brush. Oh my God, like Cheyenne, how do you deal with this little princess? You know what? Like, I kind of was like, is this really why you're mad? Or are you mad because you have to be sober to drive this thing, Zach? Is that something you're not used to? Listen, it might be a little harsh, but don't tell me you weren't thinking the same thing. Don't tell me you weren't thinking the same thing with all those being charged with DUIs all those times, you know. I'm like, maybe he's just not used to driving sober. That might be what's bothering him a little bit. Eliana says, I missed the only MTV when they just played music. It was so fun, right? But I think I was born a little bit like after like the age of appreciating music videos. And I think I tell you guys this sometimes, but my mom, she's very like, I don't know how to describe her. Listen, she's a nice lady, but she didn't want us watching music videos growing up because music videos, I think, lead to sex. So I never could really watch this when they had music videos. I did not grow up watching music videos. Krista says, I hate the intro song too. I still like Jersey Shore. Is that still going on? That's another one. Oh, yeah, that is going on. The Challenge is another one. They keep on recycling the same couple of shows here. Racer says, it's like MTV stopped developing. Yes. And it's crazy because this is the gold rush of shows. There's so many options and it's so cheap to produce these shows, but they're not taking advantage of it, and it's really disappointing. Thank you so much, Sue. That is too kind. Thank you, and thanks for being here. Eleni says, are they secretly assuming the kids will be teen parents as well? The tea. Honestly, I've always kind of gotten the vibe. I'm like, they're not keeping these girls on because they're entertaining, because newsflash, they absolutely are not. Wild Child Photography says he must have never been bowling, right? Like, you're touching the same used bowling balls. You're wearing the shoes. You're renting them and stuff. Like, I don't know. He just seemed really ridiculous to me. Kate Tinsley, LOL. Maybe they plan the therapist later in life, knowing it'll be needed. See, that's the thing. They fill in like the TV time with these therapists because the girls are not interesting enough to carry. They can't. He was probably upset his PO let him go. He thought he was going to get a weekend break without Cheyenne. Dead to the bed. How crazy was it to learn more about like his kind of like baby, like little boy type of personality? I was like, one thing I'm learning through watching TV is that it's incredible what a lot of people will put up with in relationships. Like the fact that Cheyenne would date someone with, or marry someone with multiple DUIs and like what was it, like identity fraud or theft and stuff, and he's like a little whiny baby and stuff. It's like, really, like this is what, like this is what some people are willing to settle for. And then when you think of Macy, she's talking about how her and Taylor, they just drink every day and fight. It's like, I don't know. Like, I just don't see myself putting up with that type of stuff, But it's crazy getting a window into some of the stuff that other people are willing to put up with. Okay, Jersey Shore. I see I got some Jersey Shore fans in here, y'all. 80s babies remember when MTV played music videos 24 hours a day and shows in between was about music and bands. I used to, for example, as a Canadian, obviously we had MTV, but for us, like our Pride version of that was Much Music. I don't know if you guys got that in the US as well, but like they had like that show called Much on Demand. And then they had so many interviews about these shows. Did MTV have TRL or was TRL its own station? I can't remember. I'm not you calling your mom a nice lady. Yeah, she's a nice, I'm telling you, India, she's a nice lady. I swear. But she was just so, I don't know if it's superstitious or what, but she had a lot of funny little rules. So, Cheyenne says that Zach didn't like following rules, and I'm like, that's a little bit of an understatement considering all of his charges. Sounds like he doesn't like following laws in general. And Macy and Amber. So after they do this little ATV riding thing, Cheyenne, Zach, and Jade and Sean won the thing, the scavenger hunt situation. And so Macy and Amber have a little side conversation about the kids and stuff to kind of bridge the way for Macy reaching out to Gary to see if Leah can come over to the retreat to see Amber. Macy tells us that Bentley still goes to his grandparents' house and stuff some weekends, but he's very busy. So their relationship isn't as close as it used to be on the show. And then Amber talks about how her being a deadbeat mom has made her daughter, Leah, a very strong girl. And then after she talks to Coach B about failing both of her children, remember this is a mom that lost custody of both of her kids, which is just wild, absolutely wild. And so she somehow, despite all of this, she manages to make herself the victim. I'm like, really, girl? Really, you're the victim in all this? These children are suffering because you chose to have them, even though you have no maternal bone in your body, no business having children, and you are the victim. That's fascinating. It truly is. And you're on a show where it shows you, because Leah, I understand, right? She was a teenager and whatnot, but like now you're on a show where you preach to people to how to protect themselves from getting pregnant, this, that, and the other, and you're still, boom. Monica, I don't remember off the top of my head, but if you search Grace Report and Dr. B, you'll be able to find them. Or if you search, I think her name is Cheyenne B, Dr. Cheyenne B, or something like that. Like, you'll be able to find them. A lot of them are for-profit colleges. Hi, Brandy. Nice to have you here. Okay, so her story is talking to Stephanie Lewis. Liana says, I saw a clip of the reunion for Teen Mom Family Reunion, and Ryan and Macy finally sit down on the couch. Oh, Lord. I was disappointed in that preview because it kind of looks like like, I was like, he didn't even get to say a word. He just sat there. He sits down. He's like, and he's always, and he's always doing that at these reunions, right? Like, those are all the shots that we get of him all the time. Just him, like, you know, fighting back his tears. So I would have loved to hear like a little something that he was gonna say. So TRL was VH1. All right. So VH1, what did VH1 do before it became about like ratchet television? Because I know VH1 as Basketball Wives. I know it as Love and Hip Hop. I know it as like this type of stuff, you know? And then now I think that Zeus is a new VH1. Oh my God, it's so funny how these things have gotten. I think people like Kailyn to being pregnant is now showing unrealistic life. Yeah, it's just so unrealistic. I just don't see. Honestly, she gives me a headache too. Girly Reds. She gives me a headache. I can't even begin to go in on that girl. Racist says, I'll be honest, I don't even watch the shows anymore. Just your recaps right now. Thank you. I suffer for comments like this. Thank you. I honestly, I'm so over the show as well. Hi, Roman. Nice to have you here. By the way, you guys, Ro has his own YouTube channel and he does recaps of Teen Mom, Vanderpump Rules, Real Housewives. He does like all the same kind of programs that I do as well. So if you're interested in more opinions, definitely make sure to check out his channel as well. So you guys are saying TRL with Carson. Is that Carson Daly? Oh, was the MTV. And okay, you guys, there it is. Hi, Divas Fortress. Nice to see you. Where are you in this photo? Are you in Athens or something like that? That looks very, very cool. Now, okay, so when Amber was talking to Coach B about losing custody of both kids and how she's the victim in all of this, and she felt like her past was used against her in order for James to be taken from her, as if like she was not charged with some criminal stuff or what she was doing in the present, was wild to me. And did you notice that as usual, she's sobbing, she's dry heaving, but when you look, there's no actual tears coming out of her face. Her face is drier than the Sahara Desert. Her face is drier than an episode of Teen Mom Family Reunion. You know, she's constantly doing that, and it's so irritating. Anyway, Macy does invite Gary and Leah to come to the COVID house, and so now we're in the finale episode, the next episode. And so they do come. Gary and Leah, they pop up a little bit later, and they just look unenthused. They're there on the couch, like, you know, Gary's like, listen, I'm just here to collect my check. My farm is getting a little big. These chickens, they're getting a little hungry. Listen, Gary, you should not even need to subject your daughter to this anymore because you got a bunch of chickens and you guys know the price of eggs these days. That man should be a billionaire 10 times over, right? He's got all these chickens. They're laying all these eggs and whatnot. Why is he still dragging this girl on the show? And did anyone else get the vibe that Leah seemed a little bit miserable? Like she did not look like she was here for it. I don't think it's fair. And mind you, Leah, a couple of seasons ago, anytime, Ro, I love your channel. Leah, a couple of seasons ago, we were celebrating her perfect attendance at school. It was something that was so truly incredibly important to her. So to hear that this academic girl who takes pride in perfect attendance at school was pulled out of school in order for her deadbeat mom to look like some kind of like sympathetic character on TV, that disgusts me. I'm going to be honest. No, I'm sorry. That disgusted me. I'm going to be absolutely honest. I don't know if you guys have noticed how bad my English has gotten over the years living here. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, Grace, I'm so ashamed. Like the fact that she was pulled out of school for this girl to cry her fake tears with no damn tears is wild to me. I really felt bad for her. Like her face was so flushed, so red. She looked stressed. She looked, I don't know, like she just did not look comfortable. You know what I mean? Like she just did not. And it made me feel very badly for her. Like she's a prop, right, in this game to make Amber look sympathetic. Honestly, Ro, I agree too. But like a couple of people have been saying, I think they think that they're going to have a second generation of teen moms here. And speaking of second generation, how crazy is it, that new story about the lady? Well, she's not even a lady. She's like 22 years old. So she's younger than I am, who survived the shooting at the, I'm so sorry, I can't even keep up. There's so many, but she survived the shooting at the kindergarten or something like that, or like the very young shooting. Guys, please let me know which one this is. And she just was a victim of it again in university. So you go from elementary school, surviving a school shooting. Now you're in school, university, and it's the same thing. Honestly, that just ripped my heart out for her. My God. Eliana says, Amber reminds me of Farrah when she used to cry for sympathy. But Farrah impression of her crying. Like when Farrah would cry, she would at least have a couple of tears coming down. She struggled to have a voice. Like she couldn't speak when she was crying, but Amber, she's got the voice. She's got the theatrics. How much she's suffering. And now she's fighting so hard for her kids, but there's no tears. You know what I mean? Argosy University, Atlanta is a school, and the school is permanently closed. Thank you. See, it's closed. You know why? They are just turning out these degrees like they are growing on trees. It is a for-profit, college. But let me be careful because some of her stands might come for me again for saying that. Rose says, I'm actually happy if Amber's off the show because I'm tired of their whole... Honestly, the fact that she can just traumatize these children and just commit domestic violence after domestic violence and stay on the show is disturbing to me. Like she should have been out of here a long time ago. This is Vegas. I've been to Vegas a couple of times and I don't know where this is. Huh. Okay, that's awesome. Nice. I used to do like CES and stuff like that when I was working in the tech world. They need to cancel all. You're telling me, Matt. You are telling me. Way past its prime. Hey, Miss Christina. April's coming up too with your bunny ears. I sometimes feel bad for Amber, but then I remember she only wants Leah around when she has a man. Exactly. And speaking of that, thank you for bringing that up. But we talk about how this is the first time that Leah is seeing her for a while. And I'm wondering, when is the last time she saw this girl again? Because when she was with Matt Bayer, Boston Matt, she was bragging about the fact that she saw her kid 2 times in the span of 3 months over summer break. So I'm wondering, what does it mean I saw this girl a couple of times before she was forced to skip school to come up here and make me look good? It's disgusting. And it's like, Amber, she's unwell, right? Amber, she's unwell. She doesn't have, she does not think the same way that perhaps like a Gary is able to think. So I blame this more on Gary than on Amber. And Amber lost custody of both of these kids. So it's on Gary, the fact that this girl who clearly does not want to be on this show anymore or does not want to be around this like long lost auntie of hers, the fact that she's being jerked around and pulled out of school to make this girl look good, this lady look good, is awful to me. And I absolutely blame Gary for it. And it needs to stop. Gary, you've got enough money. Stop it at this point. Thank you, Mickey. It was Sandy Hook, I believe. Like just that story. I'm so angry for those kids, to be honest. My God. Okay, so you guys liked my impression. Thank you so much. It's just something that I just started thinking about. Thank you all so much. Listen, if you like my impression, please put a like, thumbs up on the stream. It'll help more people find my videos. I thank y'all so much. Honestly, I miss her so much. Farrah was a mess, but she was a mess made for TV, and it's sad that she's off the show. She tried to come back for the first season of Family Reunion, but like she was kind of like run off by the rest of the cast as well, and that was quite disappointing. I do have a question to ask you guys. It seemed like Cheyenne claimed that she and Zach actually broke up at a certain point over his legal drama. And I just want to verify that I was listening to that correctly, because I've been telling you guys, I half listened to the show because I don't find it interesting. So was she saying that they had a conversation with Coach B, and I was under the impression that she and Zach actually broke up for a little bit during the stuff. So was this like back in the day? Because this is the stuff that went on in 2016, right? So was it like the cause of their breakup back then? Because we do know that she broke up with him at a certain point. Or was this a breakup while they were engaged, right? Before their wedding? Because this is stuff that really impeded on some things with their wedding. Like he got married and a couple days later, he has to go and check himself into jail. And that's got to be embarrassing for like a Cheyenne who comes from like a good family and like whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, you're raised well around, you are, isn't like one of like P. Diddy's kids, like you're the godmom of them, or they're the goddad of you or something. And this is the best that you can come up with? Really? Like, I can see why her family was not really feeling that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I do not know, you guys. You guys are so funny. So Coach B does work with Zach to kind of uncover his mommy issues, his abandonment issues, and whatnot. Listen, I was surprised to find out about his mommy issues, but I do have a question. And don't fight me, because I know how you girls like to tussle, but Zach talked about how his mom, he would only see her every other weekend. And Coach B calls that abandonment. And here's my question. I feel like a lot of these dads, when they break up with the moms, not just on Teen Mom, but in life and in general, they are every other weekend parents, right? They see their kids like 4 times a month because it's only every other weekend. And that is normal. That is not seen as deadbeat or this or that. So, or abandonment. So why is it that Zach's mom abandoned him just because in their custody situation, she decided that she'd take on the man role and see him every other weekend? I don't know that I consider that to be abandonment, because it's so normal for a man to have that as his custody schedule. So I want to know, you guys tell me, is that abandonment to you? Is it? Am I kind of like off base here? Because maybe she had the kids and she's like, this is not for me. I don't want to do like the brunt of it. Like, I would rather be an every other weekend mom. I'm going to let the dad handle the day-to-day parenting, and then I'm going to be there. I'm going to do my max. What is 24 hours times 4? So this is 72. 6. Oh God, 4. Okay, guys, can someone help me with this? I'm a little bit slow. What is 72 plus 24? 4 plus 2 is 6. 96. She wants to be a 96-hour per month mom. Is that so bad? Because sometimes you have to have, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I do not know. I'm waiting for your comments on that. Okay, so I'm seeing some of you guys are saying, like, I don't understand why they call that abandonment. It's what most of these men are out here rocking with. I don't know a man who's doing the 50-50. Actually, I do know one who's doing 50-50, but most of them are every other weekend dads. Amanda says, girl, did you catch the timeline of Kail's new baby base? Yes. Listen, she was still with Mark. Who was that guy? Mark or Malik, whatever that guy was, just before Elijah. She was with him when she got pregnant by Elijah, it seems like. And then Elijah gets moved in immediately after. Honestly, you guys have to pray for these kids. A lot of people go, oh, she's got the money. She's a good mom. She takes care of those kids. I'm sorry, but the amount of men and women, because a lot of you guys don't count the women that she's been dating and bringing around those kids. Those kids have been exposed to at least 8 different people. Let's say that much, right? And how many have been living in that house and just babysitting them without her supervision? You got to pray for those kids, because she is just reckless with it. India says Cheyenne wanted Corey, but Corey wanted Taylor. So Zach was the next option. I do get that vibe as well. It would have been so nice for Cheyenne and Corey to be together. It really would have been, like, I'm sad that didn't work out for them. When do you think that Kayla's finally going to admit that she had a 5th? Listen, I was wrong. Do you guys remember that my hypothesis was that she was going to open up about this on Valentine's Day and say that this is her forever Valentine? But nope. Maybe she's pissed that all these other mainstream publications have exposed her as well. And so out of spite, she is just continuing to refuse to open up about it. Although I hated the way she talked to her parents, Farrah was such good TV. And you know what's, it sounds ridiculous. It's funny because when she would fight with her parents, I would get anxious. I'd be like, oh, this is stressing me out. Because, again, I did not grow up with fighting and screaming and stuff. So just the way she would speak to these people, I'd feel so suffocated and anxious. But I miss her. She was such brilliant TV. Simon handling Sophia. Oh, my God. That was a funny dynamic. I saw that you got pregnant after your breakup. It wasn't even after. I think she was still with that man. And the earliest was a couple days after, which leads to the question, why is Kail banging everybody raw? I know she's opened up about having, what was it, chlamydia, or what's the other one? There's 2 C ones. There's crabs in the clap. She had one of those that she was passing around. I'll say this because we don't know if she was the one passing around, but it was being passed around between her, Joe, and Jordan because she was cheating, as usual, right? But I feel like there has to be more because she's had a lot of other partners, which is fine, zip it and do it, but it seems like she's banging every single person wrong. And that is scary, yeah, she's only escaped with 5 kids from it, but what else? What else that we don't know about, It's very reckless and dangerous behavior. Racer, so many dead storylines on TV. Yeah, I see you, Robin Dixon. I feel like these people, it's social media. Do you guys think that's what it is? Social media kind of kill TV. They're getting killed it. They're getting too much feedback and hate and ambushing and stuff like that. So they want to be on everyone's good side. Hey, Lori, nice to see you again. I don't care for any of these girls anymore. I like to keep up with them through you only. I am right there with you, and like talking to you guys is the only reason I continue with this, because otherwise they are just yesterday's news. I wonder why she called that abandonment, right? Like, I don't know. It is not abandonment. Oh, I didn't catch that Zach said that the mom stopped returning. I had no idea about that. Okay, so to me, that would be abandonment, not the every other weekend situation. Who's Mark? It started with an M, right? Was it Mark? Was it Malik? The guy that she was dating just before getting pregnant by Elijah. It started with an M, but I do believe, based on the birth and stuff, that she was creeping around on him with Elijah, right? Now, we are almost done with this recap, you guys. If you've been enjoying it, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, give me a like, so that YouTube just knows that you guys are appreciating my content and that they should continue to serve it up. So, do you guys also feel like Zach is like a son to Cheyenne as well? Do you guys also get that vibe? I have to be honest with you guys. It's not something that I ever thought about before this episode, but in their interactions with this episode, I could see why Coach B said that, but that's the power of editing as well. Like when they decide that they want to have a certain image or a certain narrative surrounding somebody, they will piece together like the dialogue and the footage to make it look that way. So I don't know, is it confirmation bias on the part of the producers, or is it just like a normal dynamic that they have that they are just shining a light on? I'm not yet sure of that. Speaking, and I did mention this a little bit earlier again, but I think it just bears, I can say that, right? It's worth mentioning again that Amber, Leah was dragged out of school to make Amber look good. And then we learned that, as usual, Amber is still barely seeing this child. And it's like, no wonder this child looks so stressed, so anxious, and just so jittery around you. You're a stranger to her, only called upon, apparently, when it's time to get some kind of a redemption arc on television. And it makes me sad and it makes me sick for Leah. Not only that Amber is doing this to her, but that Gary, who's got more than enough money already, is doing this to her as well. I have to ask you, do you think that Gary does this with good intentions because it's the only way that Leah gets to see Amber? Or do you think that he's doing this because he does get paid per appearance and that it helps line his own pockets to trot his daughter out for this show? I have a hard time with that. I know that he really wants to have a relationship between the two of them, but I don't know. I feel like it's almost more painful. I feel like, for example, in Chelsea's situation with Aubrey and stuff like that, and Amber kind of being, Adam kind of being a deadbeat, it's nice that Cole stepped in and that's the figure, and she's not really trying to force that relationship with Adam anymore. I wish that Gary would do that, because Leah already has a mom, and Leah's mom is Christina, right? So I don't think he needs to keep bringing out this woman. He doesn't need to keep bringing out Amber. How many times has Leah already said she's good? She's got her mom, and that her mom is Christina. Like, why is he not listening to her on this? I think that it's very unfair. Honestly, let me go back to some of you guys' comments as well here. Sorry, I do have a little bit of a headache, so I'm having a hard time focusing here. So first, Hannah says, I don't think Kailyn also takes, yeah, she's always joking about it. She just recently made a TikTok like, oh, show me someone with more baby daddies than me. It's like, you just turned 30 years old, Cal, and you already have 4 baby daddies. That's not funny. That's scary. And mind you, she's been pregnant more times than that. She's been pregnant, that we know of, at least 8 times with other people. So what part of that is funny at this age? Like, I can understand someone having a couple over the years, like, maybe you're like 45 or something and you've got like 3 or whatever from like marriages or maybe relationships that didn't work out. But to be this young, where you literally just hit 30, you're just out of so in your 20s, you already accumulated 3 baby daddies. You hit 30 and you're on your 4th. That's alarming. And that's a sign, in my opinion, of a severe illness. Very severe, because it's not normal. Diva's Fortress says it has to be raw because there's not, exactly. Here's the thing. it's not even that easy to get pregnant, right? Like we're only fertile a couple of days a month. And you don't even have to pull out all the stops to avoid getting knocked up. I will tell you, I'm usually only using like one method, right? And I've never gotten pregnant. You know, I've never had an abortion or anything like that. And it's like, these people are claiming that they're on this and they're on that, and all of these things fail. I was on birth control. I was using a condom that broke and the control failed. Stop. You know, actually, maybe I should say I'm using two because I like to time and follow my cycle. I don't know, like all these excuses. Stop it. I can't. Hi, Nikki. Nice to see you. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you, Nikki. It's nice to see you again. What happened with Jade and Kate? Okay, so let's get to that, Krista. Thank you so much for asking. And I see you've got Hannah D here. Hi, Hannah. You make my day. Yes, what's up with Jade? Saying, okay, she wants to talk about Jade as well. That's perfect. We're going to segue right into that. I think she was buzzed, and I've noticed she's buzzed. She likes to get loud. Let's get loud. Let's get loud. Thank you so much, Hannah. So nice to see you here as well. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, pull up that picture of Jade and Kate for you guys. And I take this comment off a little bit just so that we can pull it up here, because this is smaller. Okay, so at the end of the episode, the girls are gathered around the table talking about the highs and lows of their experience filming this season. And I don't know why Jade brought this up, because it's got nothing to do with her. It should not have been listed as one of her highs or her lows, because this is between Caitlyn and Glamorous April. But she's saying that she was appalled that Glamorous April pulled that rope on Caitlyn so hard that Caitlyn almost fell in the mud a couple of times. You guys remember those episodes that they were doing those little exercises on? She was really pissed off about it. She's like, wow, I cannot believe it. And I think she even kind of almost even like compared it to like her mom. Like, my mom would not do such a thing. Oh, look at StreamYard betraying me. Here I am just minding my own business, trying to pull up the image, thinking it wasn't going to show me, and boom. So this is when Coach B told her something about doing that. And she's like, I don't like you. So here it is. This was the scene that she's referring to. April is just someone who's very like reactive and passionate and this, that, and the other. I don't think that she meant harm in this. In fact, she meant passion. She meant love, in my opinion. You know, she felt guilt in the way that she had been treating Caitlyn and the way that Caitlyn had been feeling. So for Jade to go and try to misconstrue that as and misrepresent it as something that it wasn't, I felt like was a little bit ridiculous. And I did think that it was quite amazing that Amber, one of the least emotionally intelligent people on the planet, right? One of the least empathetic people on the planet, if you ask her kids anyway, was the one who stood up for Caitlyn in that moment and said, listen, this is not what you're trying to make it look like. And I think even Macy stood up for her in that moment as well, while Kate kind of just sat there. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but her chest was so red. Like, she was truly anxious in that moment about being called out. And it's like I said at the top of the episode, Jade has a lot of nerve calling this out when Caitlyn is a 30-something-year-old grown-ass woman. Meanwhile, and so her mom was just letting her know that she felt guilt or she felt this, that, or the other, okay? Meanwhile, Jade, you are out here, and your fiance, on and off again fiance, you guys are always out here screaming at your damn child who's like 4 years old or something like that. Like, she's a grown-ass woman that you can't stand. You know, like, she'll be doing normal kids things, and they'll always be frustrated with her, and they make me uncomfortable the way that they treat that child. So I just really felt like, Really? You think you're going to talk about this right now? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I didn't like it. Yes, Kim, that's exactly it. And it would have been free too. And, you know, Amber's got credit issues and she's got issues with keeping her money. So that was like the perfect deal for her. She just does not want to be. And how far away does she live from them, right? I think it's like a good distance between them and whatnot. So like, she just does not want to. She does not want to at all. So I'm seeing some of you guys' tweets coming in about the Gary stuff. Gary and Amber's relationship makes me uncomfortable. There's a difference in support. Yeah. Honestly, I still think that Gary wants to bang her for whatever reason, right? Didn't he cheat on, what's her face? Christina with Amber a couple of times. Like, Gary's one of those people. Listen, women are not fighting over Gary Shirley, right? The only two women ever in the history of the planet fighting over Gary Shirley are Amber and Christina. And he really wants to cling on to that. That makes him feel alive. And so he likes to stoke the flames on that, fan the flames on that. So yeah, that's the vibe I get from him as well, BM. Deep, you were getting pregnant on Depot twice. Oh Lord, and that's the shot too, girl. Girl, bless you. Honestly, I would be so devastated if I were like taking all these measures to like protect myself and I got knocked up. Like, honestly, that's just, it's not my vibe right now, right? To have a kid and whatnot. Like, that would really throw a wrench in my lifestyle. So I feel for you, girl. I feel for you. And you know, for a long time, I wasn't even on birth control for like a really long time. I think I just got on it like this year. So I'm like, the fact that these, and that's why I used to tell you guys, I'm like, am I infertile? Because I'm just timing my cycle and like, you know, whatnot. And these girls are just popping them out one after the other, and they're claiming to be on birth control. I don't get it. Like, it's crazy. Love you too, 10 meme 11. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys are enjoying the tea. Oregon's here in the building. Nice to see you. I feel sorry for Kate this whole season. You know, that's the thing. Kate's mom was embarrassing her. Like, do you remember, like, when April was getting drunk as a damn skunk, how Caitlyn was like biting her lips, she was biting her fingers. Tyler needed to be called in to help calm her down. Because she was just so damn anxious. And now you've got Jade attacking her because of her mom. Like, come on now. You know what I mean? Come on. Has Jade, exactly, her own mom as well. Her mom left her for dead when she got that BBL and needed painkillers. And the mom was like, you know, I know you need these painkillers, but I'm going to make up all these excuses as to why I cannot get them to you. She is so damn chaotic. You know, she had time to get herself another big gulp. I have a question. Do you guys, okay, are any of you guys big gulp drinkers? Like, you drink the giant ones or anything like that, about the size of this? If you drink something this big, if this is your soda bottle, how many of these do you drink in a day? And do you do the sugar-free version, or do you do it with the full sugar? I'm just asking because, you know, I got into this bad habit. I never used to be a soda drinker, but I don't know where I even got this habit, but I got into drinking soda, but it's only Coke Zero because it's got no real sugar. But I feel like even though it's no real sugar and it's nothing, and like the diabetic people say that they test like their blood sugar before and after they drink it and it doesn't spike your insulin, I still feel like there's something off about it. So I have to stop. You know, I've stopped. Now I'm just like mainly like a tea drinker, tea, water, and whatnot. Nigel says, Jade is just mad because April took Ashley and T side. Maybe that's it, because, you know, now she's fiercely loyal to Brianna because Brianna wiped her butt after her BBL, and she even, free of charge, added in some vaginal shaving services that were absolutely unnecessary. They were merely for her own curiosity. Probably didn't wait the 7 days. Oh, Lord have mercy. JD's clearly young, or clearly they never followed the show to know the dynamics. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt like really out of place. It's kind of like speaking on someone else's mom is like speaking on someone else's child. Like, I'm going to tell you, your child did, you know, just don't do it. Don't do it. Like, listen, I'll tell you this. Some of my friends, they come from these like very religious countries, right? And their like moms are so fiercely like, I'm talking like superstitious, like where it like really interferes with their day-to-day life, and like the advice that they give my friends based on like super hardcore religious stuff. Like, to me, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable, but it's like, I can't say anything. That's their mom. You know what I mean? So like, you just back off from those sorts of conversations. Yeah. Split up for the holidays and whatnot. Yeah, you guys see, there wasn't really all that much going on. I really don't have too much going there, you know, to say else about the episode. If there's anything that you guys feel like I missed that I need to discuss in this recap, please do make sure to let me know while I am still here. That was so funny. April, like, why was she even in this? She just met these people and she was already acting like taking sides. She was just lit. That's it. She was just drunk and wanted to belong to something, right? Just pick a side and whatnot. She was feeling messy. She's just in a silly, goofy mood. Left her. She did though. Imagine you needed all that like painkiller and your mom is just out there getting her big gulp And also, if you guys, again, big gulp drinkers, if you drink this, do you get a new cup every time, or do you like refill it? Like, you give them like your cup and then they refill it for you. I'm really curious about this, you guys, because I've never seen one this big in real life. I've been to America so many times. I've visited so many states, and I do remember like these big options, but I've never like held one in my hand or anything like that to know like the rules and regulations of it. I'd never with the soda cancer in a can. Can't imagine that huge jug is just chemicals, right? And I agree, Reb. I think it's like, I think that that's why, you know what I mean? It's like I had to stop myself. I'm like, you know what? Let me just let me just have some tea. And I really like iced coffee these days as well. And I felt like I was always bloated. You know, that's another problem I have. You know, like I feel like I'm a skinny enough person, right? But I have a pot belly, and I'm like, is it from like these? You know what I mean? Like maybe I just need to change my diet a little bit to change composition, not lose weight this or other. I just want to change my composition. So that's something I'm working on these days. People also believe that they can come up with their own rules when it comes to birth control. Oh yeah, some people are not very like consistent with it. You know, they'll take it one morning, the next, even the next. This kombucha. I have heard good things about this, but I also heard it stinks. I'll have to try that then. Reb, right, like honey. Everything you say, big up Chrissy. It's so isn't it so funny? I love it. This whole trip, Jade was way too comfortable opening her mouth. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I don't like Jade. Do you guys like Jade? I don't like her. There's just something about her that rubs me the wrong way. I think she reminds me of Kate in that she's like a wannabe and like a follower and stuff. And like, I don't know. I just don't like it. She's a keg. Now a keg is funny. You know, imagine a keg stand with some like Coca-Cola or something like that. Gail had her fifth kid. I want to say November 20th. She's still hiding it because she got pregnant pretty much when she was still in a relationship with that other guy. I wonder where Jade gets her audacity from because her mom left her for dead. The same mom she had the drug test in her home. The same mom she didn't. Leaving her kid with for real. Exactly. Jade, you know what? Sit there and eat your food, right? Because you have no place to come in here and talk about glamorous April, who in that moment was just doing her best. Yeah, she was a little high, but she was doing her best. She was not literally harming Caitlyn. She was passionately trying to show Caitlyn that she loves her and that she feels guilty for all the burden that she has placed on her daughter. I'm distracted by Juan's comment here. I think Jade misses Brianna more than Sean. She's probably writing day 2 without Brianna. Day 3 without Brianna every day in her diary or something like that. Oh my God. Fountain drinks always seem a bit sweeter. You know, that fountain Sprite just hits so good. You know, I miss having variety in like sodas because I feel like I'm always just drinking Coke Zero. You know, like there's not that much variety. Like Coke, there's 7-Up. I don't like 7-Up really. I feel like it tastes like syrup, like sugar syrup or something like that. You know what I mean? Water, no ice is my drink of choice. Love that, girl. I need to get into that. Well, I'm always drinking water. You guys know that. But I don't know. I got into this thing where you would like to feel like full. And usually feeling full is feeling heavy. And I'm trying to get out of that. And to me, that was like filling my stomach up with like gas and bubbles, and so I don't like it. And then obviously I don't want to have a bunch of sugar, so I would do like the Coke Zero version and this, that, and the other. Yeah, she's definitely got Janelle vibes for sure. Yeah, but that is not good either for you. Okay, kombucha doesn't stink allegedly. Houston Rose Gardiner. Okay, fine. I'm gonna try it then. I think I do see that sometimes at the grocery store. Don't like her. She's like, yeah, she's bandwagon, right? Like, and they're all like that. Ashley's the same way. I know a lot of people are really like hyped for her because like she went against Brianna and stuff like that. But Ashley, her only beef with Brianna is that Ashley is Kale's like protector, right? Like, let me find a picture of you guys, okay? For you guys. You guys are going to see this when I put up this picture for you guys. The relationship between Ashley and hang on, copy link address. Between Ashley and Kale is perfectly represented in this one image. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys are putting me on this website that I didn't want to go on, but I digress. It's just a very disingenuous relationship, and it's just as bandwagon as Jade and Brianna. Like these Team Mom 2 girls are getting these like dodo brain young and pregnant girls to fight each other for them. It's all so diabolical. Okay, so here's the image. Okay, this is Ashley, this is Kale, and this is Brianna. I'm right, okay? I'm right. Or am I right? Right? This is exactly what it is. Ashley is mad that Brianna's got beef with Kail. And because Kail is not in the house, this is the house, Ashley has taken it upon herself to protect Kail's virtuous honor from inside the house against Brianna. And that's why she, as a pregnant woman, decided to fight this woman and, yeah, spit on her basically at the end of the day. I don't know. It's all a mess. It's all a mess. Anyway, you guys, that does it. That's basically the recap for the episode. Let me see. Did I miss anything for you guys? Bri and Ashley had beef before Kail because of Devon. Really? What's the beef? Was Ashley trying to bang Devon? What did Devon do? And they do. They think they're the Real Housewives, but they just are not interesting enough to be the Real Housewives. Yep, they're boring. Absolutely. Devon. I don't care for Devon, to be honest with you guys. Like, he's another one where it's like, step it up, dude. You know, what kind of example does this exactly? They don't care. These people don't care, unfortunately. Like, Kate must be heavy. It absolutely is. It shows embarrassed the more it continues. Yep. Absolutely. Thank you, Gojo. Who's trying to get, wasn't he trying to get, oh, but Ashley's always been with that guy. What's the guy in and out of jail's name with the tattoo on his face? Bar. What, Devon? Why are you trying? And Devon's had his girlfriend forever too. What is this about him trying to get with her? This is a mess. That's true. See, there you go. It's all just, they're playing themselves. They truly, truly are playing themselves for these Teen Mom 2 girls who are running circles around them and using them as their minions. They're the puppet masters, and these little fools are their puppets. He was complimenting her. Well, Bri, he was not even your man at that point. Come on now. Thank you guys for this tea. This is why I love going live. I get the tea live, and I love it. Zach is a simpleton. You know, she's only with him because Corey doesn't want to be with her. You know, it reminds me of the time, well, there's been several times where she's yelled at him, but she's like, he needs to get the F out. And he was too drunk or something like that, and that irritated Cheyenne, and so she went into diva mode. Whatever, y'all. Is it rude to ask you guys how long you think this marriage is going to last? Is that a rude question? It might be a rude question, so I'm not going to ask you guys, but I will say, feel free to leave any like guesses in the comment section, okay? It's not a question. It's just leave your suggestions in the comment section. I'm just going to leave this photo up so you guys know what I'm talking about. Even Zach is sketchy. Hannah, I usually try to do noon the day after. So this, Teen Mom Tuesday, I should have done this on Wednesday, but I was so bored of this show that I had to take a break. I usually try to do noon Eastern between this and Vanderpump Rules. Vanderpump Rules I do at 11 a.m. Eastern on the Thursdays. Zach is sketchy. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, DJ Slice, his name is Bariki. I don't know where Bariki comes from, but I always rhyme it with dashiki. Bariki the dashiki. Bariki the shiki. Barnes and Noble. Last as long as a show. Ooh, tea. But you know what? Cheyenne was smart to not put his name on their house at the very least. Yeah, I've seen his mom. She thinks he's fine. That's her seed. She's, what's her name? I don't know her name, but I've seen her. She's like this small, blonde lady. She's like this blonde, short lady, and she's a hoot. I thought it was funny when Zach drove really fast and Jade said, "You're going to make me have a damn heart attack." Oh my God. Jade is always on edge. It's so funny. There it is. That's his name. Bariki Smith. God bless them all. Anyway, you guys, that does it. That's my recap of what went down on the last 2 episodes of Teen Mom Family Reunion. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm really happy that it's reaching a close. Listen, like you guys were saying in the comments, they started off strong with the beef between Ashley and Brianna, but they fell off with that, and so the rest of the episodes were a total drag. But now we've got the reunion coming up. Ryan Edwards, with all of his problems, is going to be making a little bit of an appearance. So I think that the ratings are going to spike a little bit for that. Not much, but a little bit, because of all the drama surrounding him in this particular moment. People want to see what he looks like. This man was caught with glass pipes. He was caught with, it wasn't meth. He was caught with coke, and he was caught with heroin as well, heroining. So I think people want to see what it looks like. Listen, from the preview, he looked better than I would have imagined he looked. I will give him his credit. He was all gray haired. But he still looked decent, you know. It's all more than this. Like his hair is completely grayed. But he still looked decent. So it is quite honestly, I can't imagine, you know, being a mom and you have this son, and look, he's a beautiful guy. Like he was made to be attractive. But the choices he made in his life, as far as his lifestyle goes, really threw that all in the gutter. So it's just disappointing to see what he could have been and what he became at the end of the day. I love you guys all so much as well. Thank you guys so much for being here. Of course, I will be recapping the reunion as well. So don't worry. Like Matt says, please do make sure to hit the like button on your way up. Je vais aller danser avec les amis ce soir. On va faire une piniche. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm really excited about Millie. Bar's mom's name is Shen. Yes, thank you. So she's a fun little spunky lady. Bye, Liv. Bye, everybody. And yes, glass pipes. I thought it was for crack, but he wasn't caught with crack or anything like that. So who knows? Who knows? Take care, you guys, okay? Have an awesome weekend. Seattle. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Libby. And I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.